we can simplify these things in order for the business to come to Ukraine faster, come to Ukraine both on regional and the community level.
And I would encourage communities to communicate with each other and learn from each other.
The issue of post-war recovery will be treated by different communities differently, but we have to have a complex vision on economic map of Ukraine.
Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project of Ukraine Media Center, an NGO Euro-Atlantic Force, and I'm your host, Miroslava Yaremki. February 24, 2022 became a turning point for the development of the Ukrainian state. The war led to the formation of a new reality for territorial communities and new challenges for local self-government bodies. In the day-to-day operations of communities addressing immediate life support issues, it is extremely important to mobilize and redirect efforts towards stimulating local economic growth. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the community strategies for local economic recovery and development, the USAID DOBRE Program's methods, and current challenges in community economic recovery. If you want to learn more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our videos in the future. Local governments should be clear and predictable about how they plan their development, believes Nataliya Hnydiuk, advisor to the Minister for Communities, Territories and Infrastructure Development of Ukraine. Let's hear what she has to say about governmental support of community development and tools of support of local self-government bodies.
I guess that it's very important also to pay attention to the fact that the Ministry and the Ministry of Infrastructure and Development of Communities and Territories, we have also in the government very powerful bloc which is engaged in economic tools. And in spite of this, the ministry founded an initiative which was supported by the businesses. We had good feedback from businesses because we have founded the Work of Business Advisory Group, the special group that now already includes more than 600 of business representatives. And with them, we are processing the aspects that I wouldn't like to say that they are standing on our way, but we can simplify these things in order for the business to come to Ukraine faster, come to Ukraine both on regional and the community level. Therefore, this direction is also considered very important from the point of view of recovery that will allow us to open new fields for development of both the local economic growth and also development of industry. And I guess very important because the main partner today is a very big, as Marat mentioned, the project of technical support, which is working already more than 6 years. And they have incredible success, and they are well known in the communities that did not even become partner communities, because I know that there are communities that would like to become partners, but they cannot do that already. The Ministry of Recovery, together with the project Clear, are creating the system that will allow to synchronize work with donors and territorial communities so that we can show the communities that really need, I would like to say, the stronger support and love from the side of donors, so that to a certain extent, because now we have a lot of such partners who are coming, new partners are coming on bilateral cooperation via the embassies who are ready to support the soft projects and hard projects, and they are looking for the communities that really need a strong, let us say so, like mass support in such fields as investments, local economic development, implementation of digital tools, project management, because this is actually the base to become closer to the European Union first, and also to maximal use of existing resources. So with the Clear project, we truly hope that till the end of the month, maybe in the first decade of November, we will launch the updated tool that will allow, both from the point of view of geography and from the point of view of tools, because sometimes donors are using various tools. For example, Dobre Program is known due to the tools of local economic development or the tools of supporting and provisioning services, so that the communities can use that. And from the other side, the donors or partners who are coming to us, they also can use this tool.
Today's work conditions have brought new players into local economic development in communities, such as displaced people and relocated businesses. This difficult time has also given rise to new ways of connecting and communicating. Head of the USAID Dobre Program, Kemple, will talk about the successful activities of the Dobre Program and strengthening of local self-government, deepening democracy and community development in the process of decentralization reform.
You've heard a lot about the work, and you'll hear more about the work of the Dobre Program in the area of local economic development. Dobre was conceived by USAID with the mission of helping the newly formed territorial communities meet the challenges of decentralization and take advantage of the opportunities. And Dobre has been working, as you've heard, since 2016 with a number of communities, over 100 in that direction. And in the first 6 years, this was prior to the invasion by Russia, the communities had a lot of success in all areas of cooperation, and including local economic development. Over that time, Dobre developed a methodology that we've talked about to help communities undertake initiatives to promote their own economic development. The methodology is very systematic, clear, practical, empirical, and it's been refined over the 6 years that Dobre worked with communities. It's easy for communities to use. I think the guides that you see are very good guides on how to apply what we've learned for the benefit of the community. We have two goals that we've pursued. One is to help improve governance in communities, to help communities adopt good practices of governance, open, accountable, efficient, empirical, objective decision-making, but also to include citizens in the process and encourage citizens and create conditions where citizens are encouraged to take part in decision-making, to provide their own comments and suggestions and so forth. In connection with this methodology, we follow those two ideas very closely. The methodology is consistent with good governance. It encourages openness and objective analysis and clear identification of the community's priorities. But it also encourages an inclusive process so that the decision is informed by the needs of the community as expressed by the residents. And as concerns local economic development, it's important to have the business community involved. One of these volumes today talks about that. It is good to have the businesses involved because the process brings to light that, in fact, the local government and the business community have a lot of common interests. Clearly, the businesses are benefited if the local government undertakes actions to encourage economic activity and create conditions for development and prosperity. And it's clear that the government benefits when businesses are doing well and creating jobs and so forth. So the process is best when businesses are involved in the process, and it brings out the best in the situation. And I think that's one of the reasons why the methodology has been so successful. We have lots of examples of success, and I would encourage communities to communicate with each other and learn from each other.
The issue of budgetary funding is relevant for all communities in any country of the world. Marat, Kyurchevsky, head of programs for the development of local self-government and decentralization of power of the United States Agency, says that USAID pays a lot of attention to local economic development, and it is cross-cutting for all programs operating in Ukraine. Let's take a listen.
We in USAID made a lot in our projects, and we paid attention to such issues as local economic development. Our mission of USAID in Ukraine, we have a separate office of economic growth, which is working on development of agrarian sectors, small enterprises and business, economic support of Ukraine. However, I would like to mention that the issue of economic development and economic growth is present in different programs of USAID, even those that at the first glance, they are not focused on this very issue. The issue of economic development is in the programs for youth development, which USAID is working with, also in local self-governments and decentralization reform, even prevention of human trafficking, and so on. Because economic growth, economic issues, they are present in all of those target audiences, all of those programs. DOBRE program, which is financed by the USAID, they are the biggest confirmation of that, so to say, and during all the time, the program itself and its base is aiming at strengthening the local self-governments, especially in the process of implementation of decentralization reform, however, not only. And of course, it is clear that economic development, local economic development, has always been one of the central components of the program. In the framework of DOBRE program, we were developing the plans of local economic development. We were implementing various projects in the communities that are aiming at increasing economic capabilities of the communities. We organized educational tours, as it was mentioned already. We were helping with equipping both local markets and also creating cooperatives. So a lot of best practices, various best practices we were implementing in our communities, and we gained a lot of experience, and we were sharing that multiple times before, and I hope that these best practices, they have to actually have the opportunity to be implemented, in particular also on the today's stage, and especially in the process of recovery, post-war recovery of our communities. Of course, war made its amendments, and somewhere as replacing people in the country, relocation of businesses. In some communities, there are more of those. And from one side, it's a very good moment because additional active economic population, relocated businesses that create opportunities for economic growth of certain communities. However, again, they create also additional issues regarding ensuring or providing proper quality of services in these communities and ensuring them with the resources that are necessary for the business structures who were relocated actually, or the population who were dislocated to other communities. So of course, some businesses are leaving certain regions, so the issue of post-war recovery will be treated by different communities differently, but we have to have a complex vision on economic map of Ukraine, and we have to see the specialization of certain regions, maybe specialization of certain communities. What are the best recipes and methodologies should be used in the communities where there is even maybe too much economic potential or working force? And what do we do with the communities that are deoccupied or they are close to the front line that will be suffering more from aggression of our enemy?
You've been watching a special project by Ukraine Media Center and Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Slava Ukraini!